Hello and welcome to another awesome video for you and me and you. Okay. Anyways, guys, welcome back. My name is Joanna Sanchez and I'm so excited for this episode because today we are talking about the unworthiness wound, the I am not good enough wound. Are you somebody that just goes on about their life thinking, I'm just not good enough for this? Maybe not, because it can be unconscious. It can be very, very unconscious. So I'm here to tell you of some ways that this can actually be playing out in your life without you even realizing that it is a deep, deep wound. And I'm also here to tell you there's nothing wrong with you for having this wound. We are all little wounded animals. We're all little wounded children walking around this world with little wounds from our past and wounds from our lineages and our cultures and our socialization. So there's nothing wrong with you. All you need are some skills. That's it. Some skills to be able to heal and let go and just come home to your heart and your true essence. Okay, so I'm here to teach you these skills and I'm super excited. So let's go ahead and dive right in. Okay, so a wave of this unworthiness wound pops up a lot is being afraid of what other people are thinking about you. And I go super, super deep into this fear, which is the judgment wound that gets triggered by the unworthiness wound in my podcast, which is below. So take a look at that after this video so you can go a little bit deeper into that. And then when you listen to this video plus the podcast and you put them two together, it's just gonna bring tremendous amounts of breakthroughs for you. So another way that unconsciously this unworthiness wound can really be playing out is in how you are attracting partners. What kind of partners are you attracting? You know, are they emotionally unavailable? Are they disassociated? Are they just not feeling the vibe like you are? The reason being is because you might be attracting people based on this wound. So there's this I'm not good enough wound, and then that energy is actually getting projected out into other people energy fields. So people pick up on energy unconsciously. That's why being aware and being so in tune with your energetic body and your body in itself is so important, so you can understand, okay, what kind of emotions, what kind of wounds am I picking up from other people? How are they triggering my wounds and all of that? So if you have this unworthiness wound in your energetic field that you might not even know about, then it's getting projected out and the other people can be feeling that. So you may be attracting emotionally unavailable people, or you may be attracting people that are disassociated from you, that are just like not attracted to you and all of this because you have this I'm not good enough wound. Then there's also the aspect of it where it's like I'm not good enough to follow my dreams or my purpose, and that can be playing out by staying in the same job that you have been in because it's way more comfortable to do that. And the way that life works and the universe works is that you're always gonna get in your environment a reflection of what you are feeling inside. So if you're feeling inside, I'm not good enough to step into my purpose, I'm not good enough to leave this job, I'm not good enough to move forward in things, then you're going to stay in the same environment that's going to feel comfortable to that wound. So you're continuously nurturing that wound, you're continuously living in that wound, and that wound is projecting out thoughts and feelings and emotions, and then you go home and you're stressed and you're depressed and you're not feeling connected to yourself because you may be unaware that you have this deep I'm not good enough wound. So it's so important to bring awareness to this. It's so important to understand, is my environment just reflecting back to me a wound that I have? Is my environment keeping me in the comfort zone? Because I'll tell you right now, getting outside of your comfort zone and stepping into the unknown is very uncomfortable. It's very challenging. And when you step into the unknown, you're no longer nurturing a wound. So your body is going to feel like, oh my God, this is not familiar. This is so unfamiliar. I'm not feeling like I did before. I'm feeling so unfamiliar in this new environment. But that's normal. It's important to step out of that comfort zone, especially when your environment is just reflecting back to you a wound that you have from within, especially the I'm not good enough wound. Unconsciously, you may also be attracting friendships that are just not fulfilling, friendships that are proving to you how not good enough you are. So this may be reflecting in your friendships or relationships as you trying to be a people pleaser and trying to control the way that they think about you so that you feel like their validation can make you good enough. But I promise you, based on my own experience of being unconsciously unaware, yeah, I was unaware of this wound, and my whole entire life, all I did was try to search for validation in others and try to make other people like me and just dim my own light and dim my own essence and dim my own boundaries and not set healthy boundaries because I felt deeply rooted inside that I wasn't good enough to stand in my power, to stand in my purpose, to stand in who I really am at the core of my being. I didn't feel good enough for that. So I just searched for validation. I searched for love. I searched for acceptance to fill that void in my heart of I'm not good enough. But there's no one that can fill that void in your heart. It's going to be an endless chase. You're going to keep attracting the same exact environments that are just going to keep proving that to you until you actually go within and you actually heal that, which we'll talk about. Another way it can unconsciously be playing is the way you feel about your finances. Below, I also have attached a YouTube video on my money mindset. That one is super awesome for you to look at so you can kind of start practicing a little bit more of your money mindset and change your perspective around money, because money is just an energy game. Money is just energy, and when you are in the receptive energy, money is going to flow your way. So like I said, I'll talk more about that in that video. Take a look at that. You have goodies on there to follow up with this video to just keep growing and keep expanding, and I definitely invite you to do that. But that unworthiness of I'm not good enough to make more money. I'm not good enough to have more money in my bank. And it can unconsciously be playing out by the way that you feel when you when you pay your bills, the way that you feel when you are going to restaurants and paying for food, the way you feel about giving others money, the way you feel about your job giving you money, the way you may feel about your money just being gone all the time and not having enough. All of these things are just a reflection of how you feel within. Everything, guys, everything in your outer reality is a reflection of how you feel within. So within, you keep replaying unconsciously, I'm not good enough, I'm not good enough, I'm not good enough. You're not going to be good enough for that abundance. You're not going to feel good enough to attract more money in. So it's like money is waiting to swarm your way. Love is waiting to swarm your way. Abundance, joy, peace, it's all out here in this vortex of energy waiting for you to be like, oh crap, I am good enough. I am energetically available for all of these things because I am good enough for just being me. That's it. I don't have to try to prove myself. I don't have to try to validate myself. I don't have to try so hard because I'm already good enough. And when you heal that wound and you let go of that, so much more comes your way. So much more enters your energy field. Everything that's been waiting out here, it's like you have this bubble around you, and this bubble is like the I'm not good enough bubble, and it's just around your body and around your energetic field. As soon as you lift that off, it's like everything you've always wanted, everything you've always desired, good relationships, great friendships, money, your dream job, your dream purpose, peace, love, joy, everything comes your way because you state every single day and you tell the universe, you tell God, I am good enough just because I am. God already made you perfect. Source, universe, whatever you believe in, already made you perfect. You wouldn't be here if you weren't. So the lie is what you've been taught since the moment you can remember. Since the moment that you were a child, you've been told a lie. You took on this belief based on your outer environment, based on micro traumas and traumas that you experienced in your life, and you created this belief of, I'm not good enough for my dream life and my dream everything. I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough, I'm not good enough, I'm not good enough. So it dates back to your childhood. So I invite you, look back into your childhood. Understand what happened in my environment, in my household, that made me feel like I wasn't good enough. Who in my household made me feel like I wasn't good enough? I'll give you a great example. My dad used to work 2 jobs. My dad was always exhausted and tired, and as a little kid, I didn't understand. I didn't know, and I have a lot of love and compassion for him now as I've healed these wounds, because I understand deeply now. He didn't mean to, he loved me back then. He just wasn't able to show it because he was so damn exhausted. And that's what happens when you don't take care of yourself first. You're exhausted. You can't give to others. So as a kid, I would wait so excited for my dad to come home. I would clean the house and all this stuff, and I would just get so excited for him to play with me. And when he would come home, he was so exhausted and tired. All he wanted to do was eat, take a bath, watch TV, and get the hell to sleep so he can wake up in the morning and do it all over again. But as a kid, I took on that energy, and I was like, I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough for him to play with me. Everything that I just did is not good enough for this reward that I'm seeking for. Everything that I do is just not good enough. And in my household too, I talk more about this in the podcast, the Afraid of What Other People Think podcast. So like I said, take a look at that. For real, this will give you so much more insight. But I talk about that. I talk about how in my household, I was always told by my sibling or my mother, you talk too much, you talk too much, you talk too much. So for me, I created this wound where I'm like, I talk too much. I'm not worthy. I'm not good enough to talk, to express these things that I really want to express. So it really reflected in my childhood. Growing up with my friends, I felt like I wasn't good enough, and I always had to do everything for them to be good enough, and I had to stay quiet so that I can do more for them and all of this stuff. And even when I would talk, I would always, and still kind of happens to this day, I'm human, so these things still pop up where I'm talking about something, and I'm like, is this person even listening to me? Is this even getting across? Am I just talking too much? Am I annoying them? Am I taking up their space? All these things still pop up because these programs get really instilled in us, especially when we build a belief and a story around I'm not good enough. So that's a little bit about my experience with it, and the way that I've been able to heal this, and the way that you can also heal this, is going back into those moments in your childhood and really, really, really sitting with your child and telling your child, you know what, I love you. You are good enough. You are amazing. You are good enough for just existing. You are radiant. You are beautiful. You are loved. All of these things, just going back and nurturing your inner child and making them understand that they are loved and that the belief that they took on just wasn't real. Another great way of releasing this is by releasing the energy of shame and guilt. So it's really important to understand that through our lifetime, when we feel like we're not good enough, that really does create the negative emotions of shame and guilt. And in the David Hawkins scale of emotions, he talks about, if you haven't looked at that, there's this book called The Letting Go book, and it talks all about that. But he talks about the lowest level emotions, the lowest energies in our bodies, and those are the ones of shame and guilt. So when we believe we're not good enough, we're shameful about things. We feel guilty about things, like guilty for stepping into our purpose, or guilty for expressing, or guilty for making money, or guilty for even receiving stuff. We feel really guilty. So we hold on to these emotions somewhere in our body. So it's so important for you to tune into that aspect of you. Understand, where am I holding on to this shame and this guilt? And release that. And this is a skill that I teach a lot of my clients, a skill of tuning into the body, understanding where am I holding on to this. And it's just amazing what happens when you actually let it go, and when you actually understand, you sit with it, you let it, you accept it, instead of pushing it away, which is what we unconsciously do, and armoring our heart with it and numbing ourselves out to it. You actually become acceptant of it, and you allow the pain to rise. Because think about it, you're shoving down emotions, you're shoving down shame and guilt. Where is that going? It's an energy. Where is it going? If you're not fully completing it, if you're not fully accepting it, if you're not fully allowing that pain in, it's going nowhere. It's going within your body. So this is why the embodiment work is so important. Tuning into your body. Where is it at? Accepting it, understanding it, allowing it, releasing it through crying, through movement, through however it wants to express itself is so important. Like I said, these are skills that I teach my clients, skills that we haven't been taught. Right? So there's nothing wrong with us. There's no problems to solve. We just need skills to release these things, release these wounds, so we can come home into our essence. And I also invite you, anyone in your life who made you feel like you weren't good enough, I ask you, are you willing to forgive them? And at first you might say no. But forgiveness is not for the other person. Forgiveness is for you. Because it's important for you to also take responsibility that you were the one that created that wound. You were the one that took on that belief. There is no victimizing here. When you release that victim mentality, you grow. When you release that victim mentality, you expand and you look at life from a way different perspective. When you take full responsibility for the emotions and the guilt and the shame and the wounds that you have, you become a brand new you because you're like, oh my God, no one did this to me. This happened for me because I can now heal it and I can turn this mess into a message. I can turn and alchemize this pain into pleasure. And I can love myself deeply because I'm in control of releasing this. You no longer give it to other people. You no longer give that power to other people. Now you're in power. Now you can release this. How cool is that? It's so freeing. It's so beautiful. So forgiveness is not about another person. Forgiveness is about you. Are you willing to forgive that person? And then are you willing to forgive yourself for taking on that wound, for taking on that pain? And when you do that, simple little tasks like this will really change your life. So that is my message for you today. And I just want to keep reminding you, you are good enough. You are good enough just because you are. There doesn't need to be anything following I am good enough because. There is no because. I am good enough. I just am. I am good enough. I am good enough. I am worthy. I am love. And that is all that I am. Anything else is a lie. So I invite you to tune into those lies and heal them. And when you devote yourself to your healing and you devote yourself to this inner work, everything will shift. Everything. Your whole entire life will. Everything. So, what do you want in your life? Do you want love? Do you want fear? Do you want abundance or do you want lack? Do you want really rich, pleasure-filled experiences? Or do you want to keep living in a box? I'm pretty sure you want this side of things, correct? So if you do, I encourage you. Seek out, learn these skills, become embodied, understand yourself from that deep level, and come home to your essence, okay? Take a look below. And like I said, that podcast is really going to bring more light to how socialization and culture and even our ancestral lineage can really play a big role in these wounds and these fears that we have. So take a look at that podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you love this, give it a thumbs up. Share it with a friend, spread the love, and just know that I thank you so much for being here in my space and in my energy. And I hope that this brings all the blessings and all the healings that you and your beautiful, tender heart are searching for. I love you.